Hello everyone, this is Josie. I'm back to talk about my 2016 crafting goals. I've never made crafting goals before, but I decided to do that this year because there's a lot of projects that I didn't do last year. Some of them because I forgot about them, sometimes because I didn't have time. Or I got too caught up in a different part of my crafting that I paid no attention to the other crafting things that I do. So this time around, I decided to make some crafting goals. Some of the reasons for doing this is I have a lot of product from 2, 3, or 4 years ago when I started crafting, and it's just still sitting there, hasn't been used, and I want to move on. I want to be able to purchase new paper and not feel bad because I have so much paper and so many paper pads from years ago, and I haven't used them. I still have been buying paper. I just don't buy all of the paper that I want because I have a lot. So I usually pull out every paper pad that I like at the store, and then I pick my absolute favorite one. The one that's gonna bug me in my head when I go home because I didn't pick it up. That's the one that I pick up. The other ones I like and I want them, but I can't really get them because I have a lot of paper and I haven't used it, so I just get the one that's absolute. And I would like to be able to shop without having to do that, feeling like I have to do that. I could get them if I wanted to, but I don't feel like I should. So in order to feel a little better when I shop, I want to use up the papers that I have from 2, 3, 4 years ago. So that's one of the reasons for my crafting goals this year. Another reason is because I want to see results. I want my purchasing to be justified, which for me means that I'm using it. I'm using the products. I'm not just keeping them and 2, 3 years later still have them. I mean, of course you still have stamps and dies and that stuff, but I mean like paper, embellishments, stickers, that kind of stuff that eventually gets used up if you're actually doing something with it. So that's another reason for my goals. And I guess the last thing is because there's a lot of things I wanted to accomplish last year and I didn't. Some because there wasn't time, and there's a lot of ugly that happened last year. This year, I'm going to do those things that I didn't get to do last year or I didn't have time to do last year. I'm going to go ahead and do them this year, and I'm going to put it on a list. That way it gets done. So that is my reasons for my craft goals. Now my goals, I am preparing myself to complete these things. And I'll tell you what I've done to help myself with my goals. So, using up my product, using up especially the old stuff, the paper pads that I've had for years, they're pretty, there's nothing wrong with them, but they need to be used. So what I've done in order to deal with that is I am making scrapbooking kits. I did it last year. It was a lot of fun. The only thing that I think that I really needed to change was last year I picked a paper pad and added some papers to it, and then that was my kit. Well, I added embellishments and everything too, but I did the entire paper pad. What I am doing with these kits this time is that I am going with a certain color scheme, and I'm pulling all paper pads that have those colors in them, and if they have patterns of those colors that I like, I will pull those, and I'll pull sheets of paper from many different paper pads. That way, I end up using more paper pads a lot faster rather than using one paper pad for each kit. I did throw in some paper pads in my kits, but the 12 by 12 papers, I'm definitely pulling out from several different paper pads and not just using up one. So that's what I've done. So I've done I have 4 kits, scrapbooking kits so far. I've done 3 of them. I've put together 3 of them and done videos for those. They're just not posted yet. And I am going to put together a 4th one, and then I'll do a video for that one. And that's what I've done to deal with my paper and embellishments and stuff like that. I also knit and crochet, mostly crochet, but I am getting myself a little more into knitting. So I have to start myself off with some projects to use up. I have yarn that I've had for probably 4 years, and I want to use that up. To get myself going on that, I am subscribed to Silly Fru and Bob Wilson 123. Silly Fru is a knitter, and she does a little bit of crochet, but most of what I've seen is knitting. And Bob Wilson 123 crochets. She's recently got into knitting, and she's doing pretty good on learning how to knit. But her tutorials are crochet. Silly Fru is doing 2 challenges. I think they're both carry on through the year, but I'm not sure. The first one is, even if you don't knit or crochet, you know the whole idea of balls of yarn. So the first challenge is called Knit Your Balls. So if you have balls of yarn that you haven't done anything with, that you just rolled up into a ball and put it away, go ahead and pull those out, and you will knit those, or crochet if you crochet. And each month she will pick a color for that month, and you'll find yarn, balls of yarn, or cakes if you cake your yarn instead of ball it. And then you pick a color that is the color she picked or closest to that color. For January, she picked the color blue. So I pulled out some blue yarn, and I've already started my project. So that's one of the things I'm using to help myself use up my yarn. And the other one of her challenges is called Knit Your Precious. And that means any yarn that's a special yarn to you, because you really like it, you think it's pretty, or somebody gave it to you, you want it to use it on a project that's for yourself, but you've had it for a very long time and you haven't done anything with it. That is your precious yarn. So she's challenging everyone to just pull it out, pick a pattern, and go with it. And I have yarn that I have specifically for myself to make myself something, but I have really mostly just been crocheting and knitting for other people. So I just have it, and I've had it for a long time and haven't used it. So that's the other thing I'm using to use up my yarn. Bob Wilson 123 has started a crochet along, and it's this past Friday, she released the first tutorial, and then part 2 and 3 will be released in the next 2 Fridays. And it is a cardigan, and I have a cousin that's going to have a birthday soon, so I'm going to try to follow along with her crochet along. And I think it uses 3 different colors of yarn, so that's a plus because I use more yarn. And so that's another plan to use up my yarn. If the lady that I send hats and scarves to donate to the orphanage in Mexico, if she's doing that again this year, I will go ahead and make some hats and scarves to send over to her. She hasn't announced it yet. She hasn't talked about it. So as soon as she does and she confirms that she will do it again, then I will start doing that as well. And I'm going to complete the projects that I've started last year and never finished. I just got tired of looking at them. They took too long to make, and it got boring and frustrating, so I put it aside, and I haven't picked them up. The good thing is most of that is almost completely done. I just need to finish it up. Finish tying loose ends and that kind of stuff, So that's what I'm doing with my yarn. And there is a huge canvas that I bought. I think it was 2014, actually, I bought the canvas. And since then, I had been buying products to use on the canvas, and I yet have to do it. It's a canvas for my bedroom. I haven't done it, haven't even prepped the canvas or anything. So that's another thing that I have on my list, and I'm going to put it together and have it ready to be done. So there's that. And then sewing. I have a blanket that I've been wanting to make for a couple of years for my brother, a quilt, but I found a tutorial and it showed how to do quilts and stuff, so I bought new fabric because I had bought the wrong one, and I bought batting, so I have everything ready to use for that project. I also need a cushion for my chair in my craft room because the sponge has pretty much flattened in this chair because it's pretty old. And so I have the fabric and the sponge, and I just need to sew it up, cut it and sew it. So there's another project. I will be making heating bags, like you use a heating towel or something when you have a sore or a pain on your body. You heat it up, put it on your back, whatever. A lot of people recommend to do a bag of rice, where you have a cloth bag, you pour rice in it, seal it up, put it in the microwave, and the rice retains the heat so you can put it on your sore areas. Well, I want to make a couple of those bags, so that's also going to help me use up some fabric that I've had for a very long time and haven't used. And I want to make some project bags to have a bag for each project that I'm working on for my sewing and my knitting, because I really need to have them separated and in their own bags with their yarn and their needles, so I don't forget what needle I'm using. And when you're knitting, your stitches stay on your needles, so I need to be able to keep that safely apart from everything else, so the stitches don't fall off the needle. So I'm planning on making some project bags. So, those are my plans to get me started on using my product, and hopefully by doing that I will dwindle down how much product I have so it doesn't feel like I can't buy other stuff. So I have 3 videos done. I'm going to put together another kit and I'll do a video for that, and then I'll do a video for the other non-scrapbooking projects once I get all the products together and ready so I can show you what I'm using and what I'm going to do with it. And I do have a bookshelf in my craft room that's full of craft products, but I will be emptying that shelf, that whole bookshelf, out, and it will strictly be products that are set aside for a project. So, all my kits, my scrapbooking kits, will be prepared and ready to go, and they will be on the shelves. I just got to pull the box out and start my scrapbooking layouts. Knitting, crocheting, they will have their own project bags, and they will be sitting on the shelf, and each of them will be a specific project I'm working on, and with their yarn and their needle in there. And that's what I'm going to prepare that shelf for, is to hold all of my projects that I need to get done and have already prepared to do. So when that is done, because right now I'm digging in every container and all the papers and pulling out product from everywhere and making kits. So I have a disaster in this room because of that. So once I'm done, I will show you what that shelf looks like and tell you what's on each shelf. Or bookcase, what the bookcase looks like. So I am going to get back to making my scrapbooking kit and doing more videos. So thank you so much for watching and commenting. And if you like this idea, I would encourage you to pull out old product that you haven't used, old papers, whether it's cardstock, pattern paper, just pull it all out, make yourself some kits, whether you do scrapbooking or card making. You know, there's always anniversaries, birthdays, that kind of sympathy cards, you know, that kind of stuff. Just make some card kits. If you don't scrapbook, you can make card kits and have those set and ready to go. So, thank you, and I hope I see some of you make some videos similar to this one and talk about your goals for this year. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.